Hi guys, I'm George from Scratch That, and thank you for tuning into a very special artist interview episode. I'm here with the Allen and Unwin times QUT shortlist winners, I guess. Kieran Gregg, Rebecca Roma, and Hannah Vesey. And they've kindly given us their time to just answer a few questions, take us through the process, and just give us a little inside info on their pieces. Let's just jump into it, guys. So first off, thank you for being here today. It's an absolute privilege to be able to talk to you and also to be able to publish your works, because I've read them. They're absolutely fantastic. Some of my favorite pieces from this issue. You guys just have an incredible voice and tone and style, and you should be extremely proud of yourselves.
Well, thank you. I am.
That's always good. I guess let's just start with a very basic question. What was the writing process like? Kieran, would you like to start?
Sure. For this piece, and I think for most of the work that I tend to actually like that I write, I just vomit it up in one big kind of heave, and then I find that's most enjoyable as well, when I sit down get into the zone and just vomit it all out, and then later I kind of edit that big chunk.
I'm the opposite of you. I have to write it one scene at a time, and because I self-edit as I go, which is very bad, I need to stop doing it because it just never gets anything done. But I don't find that my inspiration comes so much I just have to keep writing and I figure out where it goes. It's very much more a cerebral, everything is very planned. So I have to step by step. 200 words at a time, probably, max. So
do you plan it out, or do you just sit there every day and write it?
No, I plan it out.
You plan it out?
Yeah, I plan out all the scenes, and then I sit down and I think about the images I want to use in the scenes, and then
I find that a lot of planning does go into it beforehand. I've basically got every single little thing in my head before I start writing. And then this is, not great, but I generally try and do it in one draft. So I'll spend 4 hours on 500 words and just try and make it as perfect as I possibly can so I don't have to redraft it that much. I know that's probably not a great way to write, but that's what I try to do.
Hey, it works.
Yeah.
So. No, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right.
I'm so glad I've never met another really meticulous planner like that.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
Let's move on to the genre. All different genres. Is it something that you would the one you chose for the Allen Unwin Prize? Is it something that you typically write in, or did you just decide to take this risk and see if it paid off?
Mine's pretty comfortably within my kind of brand of spooky, which I really tend to write in. Bex and I are in a writing group together, and they joke that in everything I write there's a dead baby. And
it's a joke, but it's true.
So in that sort of sense, it's very familiar and exactly what I usually write about. But I've never written from a male perspective, and I've never written from a perspective of an older male either. So that was a bit of it was different, and I didn't find it super challenging, but it was a bit of a risk, I suppose.
Yeah, not so much the genre, but just the perspective.
Yeah.
In it.
It was really fun though. So, yeah.
This one was, I think, one where I allowed myself to put more of my own humour into it, I think. In my head, I think if you're writing literary fiction, it has to be, very profound, very big words, very serious. And it's never really clicked. But with this one, I think that's what gives it the real life and the heartbeat of the story, is the fact that I put my own voice into it. And I was like, oh, it works. So I guess it's not what I usually write, but in a way that is more me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like mine potentially had a bit of a historical fiction thing going on, which is definitely a new direction for me. And it was creatively risky, or it felt that way. At one point I sent a draft to my friend, and he told me that it was unethical for me to give Buzz Aldrin schizophrenia. My heart just broke.
No, that's interesting.
I really want to read yours, Hannah. I haven't read it.
So excited to read you guys' story. I'm just gonna sit there and cry.
No, well, that's interesting that it sort of stayed in your wheelhouse, but you kind of tweaked parts of it. I think it's a bit playing it safe, but a bit risky, and obviously it paid off. Is there any parting words of advice that you would give the Scratch That readers, and I guess Ellen and Owen readers as well?
I think just like have a go at submitting your stuff, because you just don't know until you submit it. You have to be in the game and you have to like have a go. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is probably a quote that helps me. I actually have it written down and it's above my desk. And it's from Bird by Bird. Whenever I need to think about writing and it all feels too much and overwhelming to actually start writing, it just says, don't feel like you don't have a choice, because you do. It essentially just means stop taking yourself so seriously and just put words down.
I guess I was going through a really rough period with my writing. Just after I finished the story, I was kind of thinking about quitting. So I'd say to anyone who's, reading Scratch That, if you're a writer, it can be really hard not to get discouraged when you don't have like a constant stream of affirmation from the outside, and to just, I guess, try and rely more on yourself and less on other people thinking it's great, because that's not always going to happen.
That's great advice, everyone, and once again, great stories. Thank you so much for coming today and sitting down and just having a chat. It's been an absolute pleasure, and and thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next issue.